We move through life surrounded by people we may never fully know. The stranger on the street, the person across the room, the mentor we admire, the friend we thought we understood. Each one carries a world of memories, dreams, pain, joy, and purpose. I'm Dante Patterson, and I'm searching for the stories hidden inside everyday life. This is Everyday Lives, Passionate People. All right, welcome back to Everyday Lives, Passionate People. Today is a fantastic milestone for the show as we have our very first guest. We've been colleagues and friends for over a year now. We've collaborated closely on so many projects, and we're both pursuing our master's degrees in higher education student affairs. Just the way that I've seen him show up for people and the leadership he represents is such an absolute pleasure. I'm pleased to welcome my friend, Bradley Jenkins, to the show.
Oh, man, appreciate the introduction, Dante. That means a lot, and I'm glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, awesome, Bradley. I mean, you're the very first guest on the show, and I'm super excited that we can actually do this. I've been wanting to have a really good first guest, and when I saw your name pop up on the application form, I was like, oh my gosh, he'd be a great first interview.
Yeah, I've been watching your videos. When I heard about the invitation, I was like, I had to take a shot. So,
Oh my gosh, definitely.
let's do it.
So on the surface, who exactly is Bradley with all your jobs and your roles and your titles?
Okay, cool. So as you just mentioned, we're currently both getting our masters right now. It's called College Student Personnel, but in long story short, it's pretty much student affairs leading up to higher education administration. So last year, I had my assistantship in the new student family programs, and now I'll be switching over to the Multicultural Center for this year just to get a broader experience on campus. I currently am in Georgia right now for a summer internship in Residence Life Summer Orientation. This has been a cool experience so far. I'm already reached my halfway mark, which is kind of crazy to believe that June went by so fast and we're already almost done with July. So definitely looking forward to coming back to Macomb and sharing what I got to experience out here in Georgia. And last but not least, as of July 1st, I have been appointed to student representative to the Board of Trustees at Western Illinois University, which is another great position that I'm looking forward to. And just serving the student population as best as I can.
Yeah, Bradley, I've been keeping up with you for the whole Board of Trustees. And for those who don't know, I've been keeping up with Bradley for months about this. I remember in class when he told us that he wanted to run for the Board of Trustees, and I knew that he'd be a great fit for it. So the fact that he's actually starting now is kind of crazy looking back on it.
Definitely a dream come true.
Definitely. So then you expressed all these titles that you're doing, your grad assistantship, the Board of Trustees. So I want to know who exactly Bradley is beyond all of those titles.
Okay. First and foremost, I consider myself a leader. Not only a leader, but a leader with passion, a leader who is warm-hearted, who can reach people where they are. Definitely being a people's person, Just as much as I want to see myself grow, I want to see other people grow right there with me, especially ones who I connected with in the past. It's cool seeing our different experiences and how we're able to build from one another. That's what I love. Just networking, meeting new people every day, new opportunities coming. Yes, that is me.
Yeah, I love that. You mentioned it in your first question about you're just really passionate about serving the student population. And I mean, I feel like I'm the same way too as, someone who was a student leader and someone who is a leader who's helping advise and supervise, like we're both doing, to all these students. So I definitely understand that.
Yes.
So I want to know more about your identity, right?
Okay.
So what part of your identity matters most to you right now?
I would say definitely my humble beginnings. Me coming from a low-income neighborhood, moving to a middle-class, predominantly Caucasian neighborhood in the suburbs. Definitely, it was a lot of life lessons taught, especially humble beginnings, just remembering where I came from, It also gives me another further reason as to my passion in higher education administration that is bigger than just me. I'm in this for all people, if that makes sense. Just fighting for a change and making a difference in others' lives, especially family members as well. Family is a big part of my identity. God, of course, I give all credit to him most importantly. All those things are I feel are what developed me as the person who I am today.
Yeah. I couldn't help but notice that you mentioned humble beginnings a few times, right? So, was there a specific experience you had when you were younger relating to your humble beginnings?
Yeah, so me coming from the west side of Chicago, Garfield Park to be exact, it wasn't the best place to live. I wasn't able to go outside, but it was not till my mother remarried when I was in third to the fourth grade where I got to move to the suburbs, and I would say a lot more opportunities came my way. I don't regret living there because, like I said, it's a lot of life lessons that were taught. However, it wasn't until the suburbs that I really got to open up and got to figure out who I really was as a person.
So, my next question is, where did your story for leadership and passion in serving people begin?
Okay, I feel like I've always been a leader some way, somehow, whether that's in football, joining different organizations on campus, or even just classroom settings. Overall, I try to be that person that I feel I have a strength where I can get people to come together on the same page. And going back to meeting people where they are, I feel communication is a very key thing. It's not only what you say, sometimes it's how you talk to people. Just being transparent for sure. I'm always big on genuineness, and I feel people can relate to that. When people can tell when someone is acting fake or phony. So
Hmm.
I like to treat others how I want to be treated. That's the main thing, the golden rule right there. Yeah,
Yeah, I go by the golden rule. I'm sure it had to be the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated, and I'm glad that someone else has like that instilled that into their head because the golden rule, I take that wherever I go.
for sure. I feel that goes a long way, and
Definitely does,
people respect you off of that.
right?
Yes, sir.
So, within higher education, what exactly are you passionate about right now?
Definitely, it kind of brings me back to my younger ages where I would say that I had family there, but I didn't really have that support when it came to like education wise or on a school level. So I want to be when I say make that difference, I want to pour into others more so because of I feel like I didn't get a lot poured into me, but at the same time, I was able to figure things on my own, especially me being an only child. I've always considered myself a very independent person. That was just me adapting to my environment. But the main thing, going back to your question, is helping people figure out their own passions. That it kind of is rewarding to myself. Like seeing other people win, it's kind of crazy to say, but seeing people win makes me win. You know what I'm saying? Like see other people happy, see people succeed. That's my definition of success. Whether you're young, whether you're older, whether you're no matter the race, whether you're skinny, it doesn't matter. I genuinely love all people. I love interacting with all people. I feel like I'm able to get along with all people and I'm just a people person. So I feel like in higher education, that's one of the main strengths you need is being that people person, being open, great communication, positive energy, most importantly, and just being that asset in other lives is very beneficial.
Yeah, I think in like the first part of your question or the first part of your answer that I was hearing, like you said that you pour into others because you really didn't get that like growing up, right?
Yes.
Has that been like for like your entire life or just like in education or everything?
Don't get me wrong, I'm truly blessed. I definitely have a great support system, people who believed in me ever since I was young, like like I mentioned, my family, football coaches. But when it comes to specifically school, with transparency, I feel I didn't get that support that I needed at the time. I really had to fend for myself and figure out things on my own. I'll just be honest, I didn't really have the best middle school and high school experience. Surprisingly, I was not the best kid. Going back when I was younger, I could have been a little rough nowadays, but definitely I would say going back to my high school year, it wasn't until I made being transparent, I probably made some poor decisions being on the football team to the point where I got kicked off and I had to really figure out who I was and realizing that the stuff I was doing is not okay. So I had to make a few changes in my life and actually focus. And I would say I'm definitely doing a lot better job now.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being so transparent about that. I
Absolutely.
mean, do you think that like before you left the football team, was that like a part of your identity?
Absolutely. I thought football was gonna take me far, and don't get me wrong, I was really good. I was that guy on the field, but, not every I truly believe looking back that maybe wasn't for me. I had to really sit back and make some changes in my life, whether that's, my environment, the people I hung around with. I just had to do better. I leaned a lot on family. That's why family is very big on me because that was a time where I really ignored them and I treated my friends more so like that was my family. And I learned the hard way that all your friends don't always have the same intentions you thought they did, but no matter through it all, family stuck by me right by my side, even when I turned my back from them. So that's why I owe them. I really feel like I owe them a lot, and they truly mean the world to me.
Yeah, man, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's really impactful.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you've been a leader for a while and you've been, pouring that strength and positivity into students and everyone you work with. But I wonder, was there a specific moment that gave you your confidence as a leader?
I'll be honest with you. I had to develop that confidence. I wasn't always a confident person. It wasn't until I really got myself out there. I forced myself to connect with people and change the sceneries and getting adapted to new environments to the point where it just naturally came about. I try to pour into positive energy, or and as vice versa. I try to pour positive energy into others as well. So I would say me just working on myself, whether that's physically, mentally, spiritually, it helped me to be more confident in myself and in my interactions with others. I can't really give an exact moment. It's definitely some, like I said, just forcing myself to communicate with people, new environments. I'll definitely say going to the gym is definitely it builds confidence in you physically and mentally. For me, that's a premise for me, and I highly recommend to others. Whether you're going on runs, good diet, just staying in shape. Because I feel, and this is a true statement. If you feel good, you do good. You know. So
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I really like that. I mean, no one just ever wakes up and they're like, boom, I'm super
uh,
confident. I
no.
mean, so you think it's more of like you wanted to be confident, but like you started doing like these small things like going to the gym and like focusing on yourself.
I wasn't. I supposedly as a kid I used to love books, but then I stopped reading books. I always promote 48 Laws of Power. That's still a book that I sometimes go back to just for reassurance and confirmation on certain points in my life. But that book really helped me to get a better grasp of the world and society, how they work. Time when I was a kid, I was considered very timid. Like I said, me being only child, I was always to myself a lot. It wasn't until I got to college, I would say, till I got really more out there. Definitely, all that together is what grew my confidence to where it's at today.
And that's a stigma we all need to break, you know? If you want to start being confident, you have to like work on yourself, you know?
I agree with that statement. Not to sound selfish, but I really believe you can't really help others, at least to your full potential. Definitely giving yourself grace. Like you said, we're not perfect. We're all humans at the end of the day. We make mistakes. When you do make mistakes, don't bring yourself down. I look at mistakes as opportunities to grow from, even failure sometimes. It's okay to fail. Maybe not to fail at that same exact thing over and over again, but once or twice, that's okay. That's understandable and we move on. Life moves on.
Right? The
Yes.
position you have been working for tirelessly for months, the board of trustees position at our institution.
Yes.
So, first, I need to know, why did you want this position so badly?
It's honestly a huge honor being in this position. I would say the main thing is, well, of course, it aligns with my future career goals, but at the same time, I really feel like I'm in a position now where I can truly make a difference and an impact on others' lives. In other positions in my lives, I can say some certain things to help benefit others, but now I can actually implement ideas and future plannings for our school to not only be an asset to the institution itself, but for the student population. And that's who I'm here to serve, most importantly. I want to show people my true intentions, whether I don't want people to think that I'm in it for myself or for cool points necessarily. This is really a learning situation. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still in my learning stage in higher education administration. Everything is still new for me. But with that being said, I feel as long as my intentions are pure and I give it all, I do my best. I be a people's person. I don't let go of my morals. I know I'll be in good hands. I give credit to God for being in this position, and I really feel like He believed in me to be in this position, not for no reason. So my goal is to not let Him down and you guys down as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I mean, when you first saw the news that you got the position, what were you feeling?
I couldn't really feel honestly. It was wow, a lot of mixed emotions going on, especially I mean, of course, positive mixed emotions, but it was like, wow, like you know that feeling when you work your tail off for something for so long, and then it's like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like you work your tail off, and then it shows, you know.
Mhm.
So, but at the same time, this is only the beginning. The job is not done yet. So, like I said, I just can't wait to get back to Macomb and get straight to work. You know, I've been watching a few videos, reading over paperwork just to better prepare myself over the summer when I have free time. So then when I get back to Macomb, I'm well prepared and I feel totally confident being in this position.
Yeah, that's really great. I remember when you were running, I remember you had, like, a specific motto, right?
Yes.
Mind sharing that with me?
Your voice, your campus. And I truly mean that because
Alright, so, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, please do tell us tell us what it means.
I mean, my whole thing about it is the student population is what makes up the university. We wouldn't have a university if it wasn't for students. We are here specifically for students and their success. So why not listen to them? Because I feel students who doesn't know what's best for students than their own selves. We can have talks with them and we can try to better understand it. But at the end of the day, the students know what's best for themselves. And I feel that their ideas matter. Their voices do matter and they should be heard. There should be no point in place on campus where people feel that their voices aren't being heard or their ideas don't matter because they absolutely do. Everyone's matter. Now, unfortunately, we have to do what's best for all students. So it may be certain situations where, with transparency, that not every student gets what they want, but my whole goal is to listen to all students and share all their ideas and make the best possible solutions to to benefit all or the most of the student population that I can.
Yeah, right on. I mean, the thought of you putting students first,
For
I
sure.
I really admire that, and, I mean, disclaimer, we both go to school together, but
We
I
do.
am so excited for us to start the school year and just see what change you
Yeah,
implement.
and Dante, honestly, you've been a great support for me as well, especially you already being an SGA, just you sharing your viewpoints on certain situations and you telling me about your experiences just help it better help made me feel more confident walking into this position. So I appreciate you for that as well.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, this may surprise you, but like there are times where I'm not super confident, right? I remember when I had gotten the graduate studies position for the Student Government Association, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are just like sitting in the front of their room. These are like the top dogs of the university. I'm just like, and I didn't fake it till I make it, but I did have to start practicing, being confident because like you, I want to show up for other people and I want to
Yeah,
help people.
for sure.
All right. I do want to talk more about like the spaces that you're in, right?
Yeah.
So whenever we enter a space, we get, depending on the people that are around us, we either get comfortable or uncomfortable. When we get uncomfortable, we're not really our true self. But then when we're around people that we love, that value us, we get more comfortable and we open up. And that is our most authentic self, right?
Ab-
So I do want to know, I mean, what does authentic Bradley look like when he's comfortable?
Honestly, if you ask anybody, I am myself all the time. And I mean that in a good way. So even in a professional setting, like of course there's time and place for everything, right? But for the most part, I am genuinely me because I promote others to do the same. And I feel you can't preach one thing and do the other. Of course, there's a certain way you should carry yourself. That's the main thing I want to emphasize. However, don't change yourself for others. Be you. We were made who we are for a reason. The cool thing about being human is that everyone is different. I like to keep it real with others, so I expect that people come real with me because I would hate to be in a certain situation where I find out something last minute and it kind of just changes everything. So I'd rather you tell me now and keep it real before it's too late, you know? So I try to put that same approach on others as well. So being authentic overall means just being myself, being transparable, and most important, being respectful towards others.
You try and model authenticity for everyone around you.
For
I
sure.
mean, have there been any spaces where you felt like you couldn't be yourself or that you couldn't speak up about something?
Sometimes I don't even have control over. So we try to do what's best for everybody, of course, but communication is a big thing to me. So I love when people ask me questions. I try to be open to as best as I can.
All right. So, I mean, you're giving me a good deal of your leadership experiences. I do want to start like diving into like what helped you grow into this leader. Like, I do want to know more about like how Bradley became who he is, how he stepped up into the board trustee's position, right? Was there a lesson that you had to learn the hard way?
To other people, they may seem like, oh, like he was just a kid chasing football was everything to me. I just started doing a bunch of things where I started making music, and then I've always been a business person. I love business, so from music, I started my own clothing brand, which was kind of a great experience. It didn't go for a long time like how I expected it to, but it was still a great learning, cool situation. Being in high school, have your own business, LLC, and all that kind of cool stuff. Um, but even just I feel that was a main hit on me. Uh, both of us, a lot of things I had to work on, including giving myself grace. I expected things to always be perfect, and when things weren't perfect, I would be very hard on myself and down myself.
Something I just love is the idea of growth. And I do think as human beings, we're never done growing or learning. Practitioners, wouldn't you agree?
I absolutely agree. I feel there's always space for improvement.
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of grad school, I mean, now that we finished our first year, I'm curious to know, was there anything that you had learned that you're taking away with you after your first year?
Absolutely. I would say not only learn, but it just more enhanced my reasoning and being in higher education. It helped me to realize the bigger picture. Going back to it's not just me. I feel there's a decrease in education right now, or people attending 4 year universities or colleges, and I feel education should be important in our, it shouldn't be in everyone's lives some way, somehow. Malcolm X, one of my favorite quotes is the education is the passport to the future. For those who
Mhm.
hold it will be in great hands. So basically, education is a very powerful tool and a resource to get far in life. I totally agree with that statement. And just being that in the leadership roles to show people that it is a way, it is possible. I'll be transparent, and sometimes for the norm is, especially in my culture, whether people become musicians or athletes, which is cool, but there's other things as well that we can be. We could be doctors, we could be lawyers, we can be presidents of universities, and that's what I strive to be one day. So hopefully, just to not going back to not being selfish, like this is for me, but it's also to show other people too that yes, it's possible as long as you work hard and put your mind to it, you can do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think especially like in cultures too, I think we hear for the longest time that you have to be this, you have to do all of this, and you have to be set on this path for the rest of your life. And I think only so few of us are able to break away from that peer pressure, so we can do what we want to do, not just what our family and our friends and what society wants us to do, but what
Yeah.
we want to do.
And another thing too is that don't down yourself because other people, just because others say that they feel your dream is too big, only the only person who knows your dream is too big is God and God only. And if honestly, if if you have an idea on something and it keeps coming to you, you have to realize like those ideas in your head aren't coming for no reason. That might be your calling, and why not give it a chance, you know? Why not be different from the world? Why not be unique? Why not make a difference, you know? Just because it didn't work out for someone else doesn't mean it's not able to work out for you. So I'm a huge believer on that. There's a lot of people who told me that I'm crazy for being in this field and especially for reaching for a high position, but first of all, nothing's guaranteed, but I feel as long as I strive to do my best, I hold confidence and faith without hard works, faith and continue with hard works. I know I'll be in good hands no matter what happens in my future.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So another thing with growth, I mean, you and I both know this that when you keep moving forward with what you want to do, you inevitably have to make sacrifices for some things that you love or you do. So I'm curious, and I mean, this just isn't tied to the board of trustees position or any of your positions, but it can be about anything. Have you
Right.
had to make any sacrifices to get to where you are today?
I would say for sure, definitely. Even being in the position I am right now, you know, I'm taking a summer off to work. While I'm being honest, most of my companions they're out kicking it every day, hanging out, going to picnics, etc. And of course, I'm seeing that stuff on social media, and it's like I'm missing out on all the fun. But at the same time, I know I'm in a great position right now, and I'm in this position for a reason. Definitely, I know that it's all going to pay off one day, some way, somehow. And even going back to when I had to make those changes when I got kicked off the football team, just changing my environment, the people I surround myself with, certain things I used to do. I do exclude myself from those certain things because I know those things, if it's not benefiting me mentally, physically, or spiritually, it's honestly just a waste of time for me. So I try to focus in and lock in on my career, my passions, and just try to do good deeds even behind closed doors.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, back to the whole succumbing to all the pressure from other people. I mean, like, I feel the same way, like I see like my friends, they're out kicking it and they're doing all these fun things. And I'm like, I'm working in a residence life internship this summer. And don't
Right.
get me wrong, I love it, but it's just like, man, I do miss that. And I try to think about it in like the long run,
Yes.
like I could be at, this gathering here, but right now I'm focusing on, my professional development to help me land a job when I graduate.
Right, we should be proud of ourselves. We're doing big things right now. I feel we should be grateful as well. Like other people wish they could be in this position right now. I know, like you using Cool OI, you saw how many opportunities there were, like how they kept getting smaller and smaller. So I was
Hmm.
definitely even getting this position. I was kind of like, I don't know if it's gonna work out. I hope it does. But then when the opportunity came, I said, for sure, let's do it. Like this is what it's meant to be. So of course, like it was hard adapting to a new environment, especially when I moved here. I literally started the day of work right the day after I moved. So it was a lot of adapting, but I feel overall I did the best that I can. Adapt to my environment, building my connections out here. So I feel like I'm on good hands. And yeah, it's crazy to believe that I only have about 4 weeks left. So I'll be back in Macomb in about a month. So yeah.
Yeah, time is just, oh my God, it's flying by. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to get into the wrap up of everything, right?
Okay,
So I
cool.
kind of want to just wrap up like what we've talked about, and I kind of want to, dive into like your life lessons for us, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, is there a moment that you think about often as you remember why you're doing your internship, why you ran for board of trustees? Like, what's the moment you think about that always comes back to your head when you're doing something?
Um, hmm. I would say most probably 121 North Karloff Avenue. That was where I was born and raised. I'll never forget. I always pass by it over the summer and just to remind myself where I came from and even where I am right now, I'm truly grateful, truly blessed for the things I overcame to get to the position I am. Yeah, I'm proud of myself, most definitely. Sometimes I feel like a lot of us could be hard on ourselves, so sometimes we have to pat ourselves on the back sometimes, even the small achievements. Just looking back where I was 5 years ago, I would have never believed I would be in the position I am right now. So just giving myself grace. I'll be honest too, there was like I said, there's people who didn't believe in me, especially with me not being the best child in middle school and high school. Like it was, I'll be honest with you, like it was crazy in middle school. Like the dean had my mom on speed dial. Like he knew my mom's number by heart. He didn't even have to look her up on the phone book. So I know a lot of people from my middle school and high school. They couldn't only imagine where I am right now. They thought I'll be in the streets or jail or who knows what, like the worst that so I feel, of course, I'm not doing it only for them, but that's also motivation as well to prove them that I'm more than who they think I was. They can't judge me, and of course the people who did believe in me, that's even bigger motivation because I feel I can't let them down. They poured so much into me and they've always had my back. There's a lot of motivation for me. Even people who look like me, who are younger than me, who feel like there's not a way out. That's all. This motivation is my why for being in higher education administration. It's my why for why I work so hard on myself, why I push myself each and every day. Of course, there's days I don't feel like getting up. There's days where my energy is just low and it's down, but I know that I have people depending on me, so there's certain times that they can't see me in those situations, and of course, like, I know I'm human and I have to own up to that, but I know being as a leader, you have to lead by example. So when I push to people when you're down, keep going. I gotta do the same thing. I have to show them that it is possible. So I know it's a lot to hold on to, but at the same time, I know all of this is, like I mentioned before, is the reason why I am the way I am today.
Right. I remember when you first started talking, did you say an address?
121 North Karloff Avenue.
Is that like
That
your childhood home?
that's my childhood home.
Oh man. I mean, you talked about like nostalgia and then people that, that did believe in you, people that didn't believe in you. I mean, sometimes like I think that's a little vengeful of me and I should stop doing it, but like sometimes my motivation is just people telling me that like I couldn't do this. I wasn't smart enough or strong enough for this. And motivation is motivation, right? But
Nah,
I think it would be more, what's what I'm looking for. I'd say it's like it's more appropriate that like my motivation is the people that are, like you said, the people that are depending on me to get this stuff done.
for sure. Like, it's okay. I mean, I try to block out negative noise, but it just goes back to my humble beginnings. It's the reason why I'm humble. Like I said, I wasn't always this way. I had to work on myself each and every day, and I'm still growing. I'm still working on myself. There's certain things that I consider a weakness of myself. Whether believe it or not, I'm not always confident in myself, which is crazy to believe, right? But there's times where like I'm like, oh, should I go up to that person? Even this past Sunday, this lady she was a guest speaker at our church, but she's also in higher education. She works at Baylor University. She just has such a great word, and like there's people come up to her. I'm like, oh, she doesn't have time for me, but you know what? I got out of my head and I took the initiative and I built a new connection and I meet with her sometime next week. So I look forward to that conversation with her as well. So, and just going back to that specific situation too, I will always recommend getting yourself out there because you don't know what you could be missing out on. It only takes one opportunity to change your life. So just don't take any opportunity for granted. Don't take, whether it's big or small, don't take it for granted and make the most out of your time. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I have just one more question for you.
One more question. Let's do it. Let's finish strong.
All right. What do you hope that people can take away from your story?
Um, Man, there's just so much, but I would say the main thing is only God can judge. Don't bring yourself down. If there's something you want to do and achieve in your life, go ahead and go after it. I'll be honest with you. Of course, I want to be a president university, but even past that. So let me ask you something, Dante.
Yeah, please.
Well, I know you're not from Chicago area, but still, do you know if there's any HBCUs or Black institutes in Chicago area or even Illinois as a whole?
HBCUs.
Or
I don't
any
think there are there?
There's not. So people consider Chicago State because it has a high Black population compared to other institutions, but it's not titled as a Black institute or HBCU. Even Malcolm X College surprisingly has it's actually considered a Hispanic serving institution with a higher Latina population. So My thought process behind that is the closest one is in Harris-Stone University, which is in St. Louis, about 4 or 5 hour drive. A lot of African American Chicago area, they wouldn't go to school if it wasn't for HBCUs or Black institutes. So they have to not only travel so far, but out of state, which is very not cost effective, and it can be a lot out of pocket they have to pay. So my whole idea is to why not bring it to them, Jenkins University. And that's actually, I plan on starting it in my hometown where I grew up in, the local neighborhood, Garfield Park, which is it's not in the best position right now. So my goal is to rebuild that community up till I know where it could be in its future. But like I said, of course, that's not going to happen overnight. Of course, that's going to take a lot of experience, a lot of connections to build up. But I know for a fact that if as long as I stay faithful and I work the best I can, it's going to be possible. It's going to take some time though, but I have true belief in myself, and I feel like that is one thing I want to do to hold up my legacy. So that's my end goal for my future endeavors. But going back to your question, no, it's possible. Anything is possible. And don't let anyone tell you that it's not.
All right,
And I hold
man.
the most for that. So yes.
Awesome, Bradley. Thank you so much for your time today. I mean, this has been a wonderful interview. This was a really good conversation that we
Man,
had.
this is an awesome experience, Dante. I'm glad again that you invited me for this. There's a lot that even I learned from myself too. So man, I'm excited to see how this comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our time today, and we will see you guys later. Make today your masterpiece.
Peace out, y'all.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Everyday Lives, Passionate People. This podcast is built on one belief. Everyday people carry powerful stories. If you know someone whose story, passion, or journey deserves to be heard, send them this episode. Frankly, I would love to have a lot more people with great stories on the show. Follow along for more conversations about life, passion, purpose, struggle, and growth. I'm Dante Patterson, and until next time, remember this: ordinary lives can hold extraordinary lessons.